I want to go back to Vietnam. And every single time I tell a person that, they either think I'm crazy or I'm insane, which is like the same thing. Especially my parents. They're like,
Why you want to do that one? You go to the Vietnam, you go there, it's the dirty, it's the not safe, you're going to die. Stay here, it's nice and clean and safe, and it's not scary.
one of the main reasons why I want to go back, because if you haven't figured out yet, I'm like 99.999% Vietnamese. Like my mom and dad were both born in Vietnam. And the reason I'm the product of is a VK. And what is a VK? It stands for VIET KIEU. And it's kind of like a slang term in, Vietnam, where it's essentially an overseas Vietnamese person. And, that's what exactly I am. And one of the main reasons why I want to go back to Vietnam so bad is because it's been pretty much 10 years since the last time I actually remember going to Vietnam. And I was a kid, I just remember like complaining how hot it was. But now that I'm much more older and cognizant of who I am, the main reason why I want to go back is because I will never forget my roots. Like, I'm not going to forget who I am as a person, because the reality is, being a product of, like immigrant parents' struggles and, being born here as a first generation Vietnamese Canadian, is that, I know how hard my parents had to work and like suffer and struggle to get, from, to escape the war, escape a life so they can, come over here where, there's such thing as democracy and freedom. But, the younger generation nowadays, the sad thing is that they don't really remember who they are as a person. Like, in terms of the roots and who they are and their heritage and culture. That's a sad thing to say, because the truth is, a lot of people, especially new generation, eradicate their culture. Like, I'm talking about being ashamed of who they are, being ashamed of how they look, trying to change their looks so they look more westernized than their culture and all that, I'm proud to be Asian, I'm proud to be Vietnamese, you know what I'm saying? And, the older I get, the more I want to preserve that, the more I want to promote that, the more that I want to be, fully, embrace who I am and who my parents, how much hard, they sacrificed and worked to get where they are today. And, because of that, that's one of the reasons why I want to go back to Vietnam. And trust me, swear on my life on it, whether it's the end of this year or next year, I'm going back to Vietnam, make some awesome ass travel videos, or a certain travel one video. And that's one of the reasons why I want to go back, to, embrace the culture, to know what it's actually like to be, in the shoes of my parents when they had to escape the war, so they can, create a chance of freedom, so I can do whatever I want. And that's something that I'm forever grateful for, especially coming from immigrant parents. It's like, don't forget who you are as a person. And being a VIET KIEU, it's like, I'm proud. And even though, yeah, I know people like hate on me, it's like, hey, you can't speak Vietnamese properly, or your Vietnamese sounds funny. But guess what, I'm proud of who I am, and I will never forget who I am, and I will always have my roots all up in that Vietnamese culture, you know what I'm saying? And I'll see y'all in the next one. Vietnam 2017, baby. Noses! Matcha and your black bean paste to your liking, and you use that thing to dip your meat in. Wait, that sounded wrong. And you can use that contraption to dip your rare steak, your beef, your chicken, whatever into, instead of dousing the whole thing into sauce. And that, folks, is how you eat your pho properly, authentic Vietnamese style, and you don't want to look like a